So, how are you enjoying this cult?
I think I was talking before about you asked me you asked me if my wife was on board with the journey. So I was telling you about how I saw the ad and clicked on it, and I still wasn't convinced. It was still like, is this a scam or is this legit? So initially then it was just the $29.95 to sign up, and you get your money back if you don't like it. So I was like, well, I sort of had my chat with my wife and said, look, I think I'm going to throw $30 at this thing and just sort of see if it's legit. So
see what happens.
See what happens. So
you saw it as well?
No, she hadn't seen any. I told her about it, but she hadn't seen it, and I said, I'm just going to test the water and see what it's about. And that gave you access to the whole dashboard and everything that's in there, so you could really see what you were getting for your money, right? The first-hand experience. So then, after I was in there for a while, I thought, it's probably got legs. This thing, this could be exactly what we've been looking for. So I said, well, the next step's, a little bit more investment. So, we had that chat again, and then she's like, okay, well, let's put some more money into it, and so we can really get the full experience and see what it's all about. So, and then went through the modules and did the journey, and then that's when it all changes. You realize how big the whole thing is. It's way bigger than what you first sign up for. You get into it for whatever your reasons are, and then you start to see how much potential there is, how big the possibilities are, and how easily you can build a business around your passions and your interests. It's not generic. They're not just teaching you to build a business in a box. It's whatever you make of it.
What you make of it.
There's everything for you.
That's right, and they give you the tools for you to go away and build what it is that you want to create, but then with the ongoing help and support and the community and everything else that comes with it, so that you've got everything you need in one package without having to go look for it all over the place.
How's it been following the journey, like in terms of your development of the business itself?
Yeah, well, like we were just talking about before, like it's you get into it for a particular reason. I wanted to escape a stressful job and get out of that environment. And that's all I was looking for, is an alternative income source, so that I could replace that income and
make the money.
That's right. I just wanted to make some money in an environment where I could pursue my passions and my dreams and my interests, and escape that stress and anxiety. So I came from a construction background, so I'd been on the tools and then worked my way up the ladder through project management, and then eventually managed a branch for a national company, and helped them set up a branch, and got to that realization that I was building someone else's dream, and I was giving everything that I had for it, and all I was getting in return was a paycheck, and it didn't matter how much effort or how much I gave. My paycheck was just the same. There was so I was like
you're just a number in
38 hours a week.
You're doing your
promotion here and there to keep you happy.
That's right, and that's what had got me to that point. And then the realization sort of comes that it's time to change the way you're doing things. Like your choices and the way you've been doing things has gotten you this far, but it's not sustainable for the next 30 years. Till I retire. I had this. I started looking forward and looking at the people ahead of me in my career path and going, well, that's not where I want to be. That's not what I want to have. And then had this, this time to just reflect on exactly what I was doing and why I was doing it, and time to make a change and take a bit of a risk, which initially, it felt like a big risk, but then you realise it's not a risk at all if you follow the steps and do what you're taught and push yourself and take action. It's not a risk.
Anybody can do it, right?
Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. You've just got to, as long as you take yourself on and you push yourself and go at it with an open mind and throw away everything you've sort of learned up to this point in a way, and like stop believing what you've been told for all this time and start realizing that there's a different way of doing things, and there's people doing it all the time. There's hundreds of people like us, thousands of people that are doing it every day.
It's the scale of the thing as well. I think that got me, because this is a business. So having a business can be something that can really unlock a massive potential. That's what I feel. And I mean, I know it might sound like a cliche to say, it just means you're not selling your time for money, but you're actually building like a system that can run itself to a large extent.
And that was a big calling for me too, is to have a lot of my dreams are centered around long-term travel and adventure travel, and whether that be by car in a four-wheel drive or whether it be on a boat crossing oceans. But all these things you can't really facilitate it with a 9-to-5 job, right? Because you need the amount of time you need off, and trying to save enough money to be able to take an extended period of time off and uproot your family and go and do all that, and then on a dwindling savings budget to then know you've got to go back to that reality at some point, compared to being able to have a business, like you say, that is scalable. You can grow to a point where you can take it with you and you go and do all the things you want to do. You don't have to choose anymore. You get to do both, right? You get to, and for me, being able to...
And that becomes your reality.
That becomes your reality. That's
so
right.
There's not only one reality. There's only the reality that we were told was the reality, but it's not true. There's many other
absolutely,
out there, right?
You create your own.
Exactly, create your own reality and what works for you and your wife and your family.
That's exactly right.
So
Yeah.
what do you reckon's on your bucket list now? Like, what's your big, your big dream for this thing?
It's a long list. It's a big bucket list. No, honestly, my ultimate is to be able to travel with my family on some extended periods of time, and not be forced to live in a particular place or because of our jobs. We get to live somewhere because we want to live there, and not because that's what we're tied to by a job, not chained to that location. To be able to travel like that and not have to return to anywhere at any particular time, just do it with complete flow and complete freedom is the ultimate. Like that's my long term. I think it's something that a lot of people don't consider, is how much they tolerate because of their job. Like, even if it's a job that they do enjoy, you tolerate living in a place you might not particularly want to live. People don't really think about why they live where they live. It's where they have to live, or it's where they need to be to be able to do the work that they do. But when you remove that, like you say, the blinkers sort of come off, and then you start to think, well, hang on, there's the world is big, and I'm not tied to any particular country anymore, or whether it's the town, the city you live in, or whether it's a new country you want to try, and there's so many advantages to that, and suddenly the world becomes so much more accessible. Like it's no longer do you have to travel and see the world just in those.
It's pretty exciting, eh?
Just on your annual leave.
Pretty freaking exciting.
It's massive. It's massive.